Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Hi there if you're watching the replay, and hello if you're watching the live. I'm just waiting for Georgie from the Fibre Fox to join me. Hopefully she'll do a little request and the screen will split into two. It's been a wee while since I did one of these joint Instagram lives, but it's really nice actually to be able to do one with somebody else. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hopefully Georgie will pop up. I'm not quite sure if it works. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to put it underneath me or above me?
And, yeah, you're above me at the moment.
How are you?
You're up there. I've never done one of these joint lives, so this is exciting.
I haven't done one since last summer, so I don't think it's changed at all. But
No, it works the same that I can remember.
good. And we haven't actually ever talked before.
No, we've never spoken face to face like this. We've always done it through messages and email.
So it's really nice to see you.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Just say hello to everyone in the chat.
There's quite a lot of people watching.
Yeah, there's quite a few people already here. That's great.
Brilliant. And feel free to ask questions.
Absolutely, we'll keep an eye on it.
We'll try to cover. Well, I'm going to talk about sort of how mystery knit-alongs where
Absolutely,
that don't really know that, and then we're going to have a look at all the lovely yarn, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at your background.
I know, just surrounded by yarn. It's quite tempting sometimes when something's been sitting on the shelf for a bit long to just sneak into the stash.
I can imagine.
It's very tempting.
So will I just start off talking about the idea behind the mystery knit-along thing? So I don't know, I think it's actually quite a UK thing, triangulation.
Is, yeah.
Points. So the mystery knit-along is called the Trigpoint Shawl, and the name comes from these triangulation pillars, which are all over the UK, and they're quite big, aren't they? They're quite, like, I'm quite tall. I think
they're quite tall, yeah.
And they have a little metal sort of plate on the top. Sometimes they have things where it's pointing out other viewpoints.
Yeah, I think it tells you what directions where, and yeah, there might be a map nearby that shows you where the nearest one is in whatever direction, and
yeah. And sometimes they just have a kind of triangle, and I think it's where they would put the measuring devices, which they used kind of mid. I think when I looked it up, it said 1930s to 60s for measuring the land and mapping.
Yeah,
it's not, engineering is not something I know.
Might me either.
Mapping or but that is basically what they are. And I discovered that there's this thing called trig bagging, which is where you go around and you try to visit all the trig points that are near you. And I found a great website called trigbagging.co.uk where you can see a map and you can zoom in where you live and see where the points are, and you can try to visit them. I had a bit of a fail last week when I tried to go to visit one, and it was in the middle of a field with a big horse.
Oh no.
So I changed my mind.
You chickened out. Don't blame you.
Easier one. Well, the easier one was up a hill, but it didn't have
no horses. I avoid them with 3 dogs that love to bark at horses. I see a horse, I go the other direction.
Yeah, I'm not keen on big animals, so so it's all kind of to do with triangle, really, and that gives you an idea of what is in the shawl design without giving too much away. Yeah, and I also, I think because we've been on lockdown here in the UK, a lot of people have been going out for walks in their local area and discovering places that they didn't know existed.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like that also give you a purpose to your walk, like let's find this trig point, or the geocaching, or whatever it is. It gives somebody a purpose for your walk. It's not just your daily exercise, it's actually something fun to do.
Yeah. And the two trig points that I've been out to find here in Edinburgh were both places I'd never been before.
Mm-hmm.
One which was like a mile from where I grew up, and I couldn't believe I'd never been.
Never been to it.
So it is nice to be able to find new places.
New places, yeah, definitely.
So I'm kind of hoping throughout the knit along, people might take their knitting out with them and
might find their local one.
That would be quite nice.
That would be really fun.
Yeah. So, Northern Knitter is saying she loves the sweaters, or they love the sweaters that we're wearing. Thank you.
I was literally thinking the other day, I really want to knit an amma. That's on my list of things that's your designs that I want to knit. That's high on my list.
Thank you.
It's a gorgeous sweater.
Thanks.
I've got my ranunculus on today, which is a lovely lacy open one. Nice for this spring weather.
I know. Well, I mean, it's lovely and sunny today here, but I'm cold.
Yeah, I've just put the heating on. It's chilly as well. When you're in the sun, it's fine. It's the biting wind.
Yes. Yeah. So, will I just talk about how a mystery knit along works a wee bit? So, although the pattern has launched today, what you'll actually get is an information sheet, which looks a bit like this, and it's got all the kind of details about the yarn, how to pick the yarn, what needles you need, all that kind of stuff. It's got a little bit of instruction, but not a huge amount. And then the actual pattern is in 4 parts, and you'll get a part each week starting on the 7th of May.
Lovely.
And the pattern has no photographs, so you don't know what it's going to look like. I found it incredibly hard not to show anybody or photographs or anything. Yeah, so I have to just keep that going.
You just have to hide it somewhere so you don't accidentally pick it up to show someone.
No, because I'm so used to having to do that.
Yeah, you're so used to just grabbing it and showing it off to someone. It's second nature.
And so this particular shawl we're going to knit it in 2 halves. So a lot of people get worried about the pace of a mystery knit along, that they won't be able to keep up. So yes, you could just knit half of it throughout the knit along, and you could knit the other half later. So I think
a lot less pressure if you do it that way.
Yes, because people
as shawls get bigger and bigger, and you feel like you've got to get twice the amount of knitting done in the same time that you did the previous clue, it can get really quite stressful.
I've tried to make it so each clue is an equal amount of knitting.
That's good. And
because it's only 200 grams of full ply fingering weight, it's hopefully not too much.
It's not too big,
yeah. So yeah, that's how the mystery knit along works. There's lots and lots of community stuff going on around this. So there is a pop-up Facebook group, and I'm going to be hosting weekly Zoom knit nights starting when the first clue comes out. So kind of on the Friday night that the clues come out, there'll be a Zoom knit night that you can. There'll be YouTube tutorials, and also you'll get a kind of tips and tricks email each week to give you some extra help.
A little bit of hand holding. A little bit of hand holding goes a long way sometimes.
Yeah, you don't know what techniques are going to be involved. There's nothing complicated, and I've designed
the YouTube videos are really helpful, I think, when designers do that into each clue, that you can, a lot of people and a lot of patterns assume a lot of knowledge, but seeing somebody's hands work and seeing how they do it, it just clicks in your brain so much easier, I find. So I'm sure that will be good.
Realize then, I know what to do.
Yeah. How didn't I see that straight away? It's the visual.
Okay. Well, somebody's asking if it's suitable for a beginner. I wouldn't say it's suitable for a complete beginner. I would say if you're an advanced beginner, and you're maybe up for learning a couple of new things, then you could give it a try. You do yeah, not a complete beginner. And also I think the amount of knitting that you have to do, just because it's with the 4-ply yarn. I remember the first shawl I knitted, which was like 100 grams of 4-ply. I felt like it took me forever and ever.
There's a big difference when you swap from knitting and following commercial patterns with commercial yarn to indie dyed with indie designers. I used to work for my parents in their wool shop, and I'd only ever knit in DK, and the two things I knit in 4-ply, I remember just thinking, gosh, this is taking far too long. And then you switch to hand dyed, and that's the norm. It's suddenly fine, and I suddenly don't mind knitting everything in 4-ply.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
I think
it's a lot for a newbie.
the quicker you get, don't you?
Yeah, it's the pace you're expecting. You're not expecting something to arrive overnight. You know it's going to take you some time to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other thing that you'll get with the pattern, I'm really excited about this. This is, oh, hang on, I'll hold it up there. This is called the Knit Motivate Sheet, because I'm all about ticking boxes when you knit a few rows, or
I love a list.
yeah, tick the box, stamp it, put a sticker on it. So this is a bit of a kind of like a project page.
Nice.
Crossed with a motivation sheet and a colouring in. This is a graphic designer has designed this for me, which is a sort of based on the kind of what you find on top of a trig point. For I think for them to put their measuring devices on. And then you can colour a wedge for each part of the pattern. Okay. So you get that as well when you get the information sheet before the knit along starts. So, oh, thank you, Craft at number 9. They love the motivation sheet idea.
It's a good idea, definitely. I'm that person that if I do a task in the day that wasn't on my list, I just write it on my list just so I get to tick it off again. It makes me feel like I've done more.
And Steph Monkey's saying, yes, love and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, ticking stuff off feels good.
Yes. Now, will I share, I've tried to bring this up on Pinterest, the mood board that I made and that I sent to you. We're first talking about this, like when
a few months ago, yeah.
Just to show you, it's going to reflect a little bit. So I was really in love with these images of speckled eggs in different
colours. I love
all
those neutral colours, and I love that when you think of eggs, you automatically think of that kind of terracotta-y colour and the white, but there are so many other colours, like that khaki green, that I just love it. I just absolutely loved it. There's some really beautiful colours in nature.
In that the speckled egg colourway that you dyed up.
Absolutely. You've got everything from the kind of classic egg colour going through to creams and browns, and then there's a little bit of khaki green just there and some duck egg blue, and yeah, I absolutely love it. I dyed it on a few different bases for a shop update as well. It shows up quite well on like the sock bases because they just take the colour so well. But I love that kind of khaki green that you get in, and you don't see that in like shop bought eggs. You only see that in nature and birds' nests and things. So yeah, that's a fun thing to dye. I really enjoyed working with that mood board.
Yeah, that was good. And I've kind of only just come to these sort of mood boards fairly recently, and I'm finding them really helpful for just grabbing lots of ideas. And then
I found it really helpful to start doing the same thing, mostly because if I just dye a colour, I then get to the day I'm photographing it and I go, I haven't got a name in mind. Whereas if I've already looked at mood boards and things, I've probably picked out the name before I've dyed it. Actually makes that process a lot easier.
Yeah, you kind of get your thoughts in order before you start.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it definitely helps.
So should we have a look at some of the other kits?
Absolutely. So we've all seen on Maddie's grid and on mine that we shared the speckled egg with the walnut. So this is the original colour kit that you used for your sample. So that one's lovely for those brown lovers. I've tried to dye a whole range of kits, hopefully to suit lots of different people with lots of different tastes. So I think I'll just dive right in. One of my favourites, which is one of my oldest colour combinations that I still come back to all the time, which is this pairing, which is this gorgeous dark grey blue colour called Obsidian. And this is a colour called the Frost Fangs, which is a lovely sort of light grey going into a light aqua blue with lots and lots of speckles of that dark grey. That's that's actually what I was thinking. I'd quite like to knit your sweater that you're wearing now in. I think that would be absolutely gorgeous for a really lovely neutral blue grey. So yeah, I love that one. That one's up there as a favourite. And then I have got a lovely purpley grey one, which is called Daenerys, based off of, so we'll find a lot with my colours that tend to be based off of book series, TV series, things that I love. So this is Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones, and that is paired with Poison, which is a lovely deep dark amethyst purple, and there's lots of lovely speckles in there of the purple and the grey as well. The next one is Shadowfax and Helm's Deep, both things to do with Lord of the Rings. So Shadowfax is a gorgeous light grey with white and lots of lovely grey speckles. So perfect for you neutral lovers that want a nice shawl that will go with everything. Another Lord of the Rings combo, which is Greenleaf and Wood Elf, which are lovely, proper earthy, mossy toned greens, and this has got lots of lovely speckles of darker green and nice sort of lichen-y green speckles.
They're going to play with this together.
Those two, I dyed this up yesterday really quickly, which is why you haven't seen this one yet, because I found that I had a few skeins of singles left in to soak, and I was like, oh, I haven't done a green. So I thought I'd better quickly do a green, but I think that would be gorgeous for the shawl. So that, if it doesn't sell, I might keep that one and knit it myself. And then we've got Celestial and Moonlight, which is this lovely deep blue with a nice light blue again, lots of speckles. I just think with the contrast, it's so nice to have a few speckles of the darker colour in there too, just to really tie the kits together. And then moving to something a bit more summery and sort of springy, this is Fairy Godmothers, which is the same colour that I've got here on my ranunculus, which is a lovely cream base with lots of speckles of blue and purple, yellow, green and pink. And then I've paired that with a really lovely honeyed gold with little speckles of gold on there too, which again, for spring and summer, I love mustard. I'm a mustard lover.
I don't know how anyone's going to.
Hopefully there's something there for. I've tried to really kind of go, right, I need to dye that colour. I've got a pink, I've got a purple, I need to dye some yellow or whatever it was. It was just, yeah. So the next one is Bumble, which is a lovely new colour of mine, which is a lovely soft honeyed gold with speckles of dark brown, a little bit of grey, and then some more sort of yellow speckles on there too. And I've paired that with a grey because I love mustard and grey, and I know you do as well, Maddie. I know that's one of your favourite colour combos. And then the last two kits. So this is Helene and the Countess. So this is based off of a character from Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. And I absolutely love this really, really rich, dark, pinky purpley. It's yeah, just really sultry, really gorgeous. And I've lightened that down up and then put some little speckles in there too. So that's a lovely sort of pinky purpley kit. And then my last combination is King Triton and Don't Be Such a Guppy, which is a line from The Little Mermaid, because this reminded me of Flounder, the fish. And I've already got a colour called Flounder, so I couldn't call it that again, which again is this lovely light aqua with speckles of gold and teal, and then that pulls together that lovely deep teal there from Triton. So those are the 10 kits. There is hopefully something there for everybody. I love this one. That one's my new favourite. I love greens. I'm very glad that you're all loving them, just reading the comments.
Yeah, there's lots of.
You can't have the greens. If any of these sell out at all tonight, I'm going to put up some pre-orders just so that I can dye them up next week and make sure that everybody that wants a kit can come and join in, because it'll be a really lovely community thing to hopefully get lots of people together. And I think in these times, even though we've been doing it for a year, it's still so nice to have this online knitting community, and I really hope that feeling doesn't go away even when COVID hopefully does.
Yeah, I know.
So nice.
It opened it up sort of geographically, and also for people who are not able to get out and about.
Yeah, these Zoom knit nights, everything. It's so nice to have a proper online community. I mean, we already were like that, really, the knitting community, but I feel like this has just opened up a whole other world of communication between us all, which is just so lovely. I've yeah, it's definitely helped me through lockdown, having so many lovely conversations with other people in the field and customers and things. So
yeah, definitely. So will we do this prize draw for the giveaway?
That sounds like a good plan to me.
So I did this by hand. This might be the last time I do this.
You're committed. You're very committed.
Down.
You're very, very committed.
97 entries.
Wow.
I know. So some were from,
Very good.
most were from Instagram. So I have, hopefully, this is going to work. I've got random.org up, and I'm going to put in the numbers. So I've got 1 to 97. It'll be back to front, which it's not that helpful. Right. Okay. So the first prize was a yarn kit from you, and of the winner's choice.
Absolutely. If it's not one of these colours, it can be anything within my range. I'm happy to dye anything up for anybody, so that's not a problem.
And the pattern, and then there'll be 4 runners-up prizes of the pattern. And if you've already bought the pattern, I'll give you a refund. Or give you have
another pattern.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for the first prize. Oh, number 3.
Oh.
Who is somebody from Facebook, Sally Hart from Facebook.
Fantastic.
So, make a wee note of that. Right, and then we need 4 runners up. So number 18, who was Irene. So that was an Instagram person. And number 16, who was So Mama Knits, also an Instagram person. And then we've got 66, who is The Knitting Jade, also an Instagram entry. And then the last one for the pattern is number 40, which is... Now, I was writing some of these names down and I thought, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that on some of these Instagram names. Keredwin 43. I think it might be a Welsh name and I've probably completely said it wrong. But I will contact the winners to let them know if they haven't seen this, and then we can get all these prizes to them.
Get them all sorted, yeah. It's very exciting. Well,
I hope your shop update goes really well.
Thank you. It's our first one together with, as I say, like Ben's dyed an awful lot this week, and we've had so many lovely messages, which is really spurring him on to want to do more. So that's great.
Oh, nice, yeah, because it's a big step, isn't it?
It's a huge step, and he's quite lucky in a way. He's not coming in as a new dyer, that he's already got me and my platform and my help. But I still want him to find his own identity within dyeing. We all have our special things that we lean to and towards, and I really noticed that I dye a lot of pink. Those are all mine there, and he's dyed a lot of different colours. There's quite a lot of yellow in his, actually. Maybe he likes yellow, and he's discovered a new favourite colour. But yeah, it's just more than anything, he's doing a job he enjoys. So.
Yeah.
The main thing.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right. So
Wonderful.
So it's the fibrefox.co.uk.
It is, yeah.
Yes. And the pattern, you can get to it via my website, which is maddieharveydesigns.com.
Perfect.
Well, I'll let you get on with the rest of your Friday evening, Georgie.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. And we'll see you all again soon.
Bye.
Bye.